you all be on the call today. I hope you guys got your journals out, your notepads out, your pens out, your eyebrow liners, whatever you got to write with, write it out because it's important. He always gets on here with one of his notepads or one of his journals going way back, and he is one of the co-founders go-to. And the reason why I like him because he sits there methodically and talks to you like it's a one-on-one situation, and it should pierce your heart to go do something, and I hope it does, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, my dear friend from Southern California, he also is a great father, a great husband, but more important than that, he's a great leader in ACN. Without further ado, the great, the one and only, Mr. Who? Dean Tarrolly. Good morning.
Mr.
Woo-hoo!
Thomas, good morning,
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Yes, sir. Man, fantastic. Now we got you on here.
Hey, but appreciate that. You know what, you guys, that's not going to get any better than that. So we're going to go ahead and end on that note. Thank you all for coming and have a great rest of the day, everybody. So this was a really awesome call. Okay, cool. So Mr. T, I see that you are mobile. So
yes, sir.
Excellent. So anytime, any place, anywhere, right? See, that's it's a sign of somebody who's a leader. They can do this business and they understand that this business works anytime, any place, anywhere, right? That's one of the things that I think people take for granted, you know, with what it is that we have to do. I have a lot of people on my team who are traditional business owners, and they appreciate that. They appreciate the fact that they can do this business anytime, any place, anywhere. And you got to have some skills to be able to do that. And Mr. Thomas, obviously, you guys know he has mentored countless regional vice presidents, other senior vice presidents. We've become great friends through this business. You know, one of the things that the leaders always share with new people is, you know, our hope, and whether you do it or not is up to you. I mean, I had a very direct call with you guys last week. I'm going to have another direct call with you today. Our hope is that you hang around long enough and you actively are involved long enough to be able to build some of the relationships and get to know the leaders the way that many of us have. You know, we're all in this thing together, man. I'm going to talk about that today as well. So Mr. Thomas, I appreciate your leadership, your friendship, just the class act, you know, the things that he texts me, and sometimes before our call, sometimes after our call, you know, I don't take them for granted. I don't take him for granted. I hope that you guys don't take him for granted as well. Having this call every single day to help all of you build your business, help all of us build our businesses, I just think is extraordinary, and it certainly warrants mentioning. And appreciate your friendship, your mentorship, your coaching, Mr. Thomas, and let's have at it. So here we go. Hope everybody is good. Everybody is well. Hope you all know my deal, staying 6 feet apart from everyone, if that's your choice, hugging on everyone, if that's your choice, just do your thing and just be respectful of others. So crazy times. We're still in crazy times, but it feels like the world is trying to open up. It feels like the world is it just feels like that's where we're at. Now, there's some places that are still a lot more closed down than others. Like I have one of my business partners on the call. He is in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He's a great friend of mine. And he came out to LA and he's like, well, this is unbelievable because, you know, kids are in school in South Dakota, like things are open in South Dakota. And it's like, you know, you got to kind of, in fact, write this down. Okay. Write this down. Wasn't going to talk about this, but now it's on my mind. Play the cards I'm dealt. You got to play the cards that you're dealt. Okay. So now check this out. So I'm going to have to loop back around to what I was going to talk about today, but I want you to think about this for a second before we start jamming. What do I mean by that? You got to play the cards that you're dealt. Now, what's the difference between some people who can play that game, whether it's poker, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just making a point. What's the difference between the guys and the gals who always seem to win and the people that kind of don't? Well, that comes to skill, right? So you can play the cards you're dealt, but if you don't know what you're doing, watch this, you guys. You can play the cards you're dealt, But if you don't know what you're doing, the cards you were dealt don't matter. They don't matter. So what does that mean in ACN? Well, look, how well do you know this game? Are you going through the motions of your ACN business, or are you really learning how to play this game? So when you are dealt a hand, this person has this in their house, this person has that in their house, this person has this objection, this person has this concern, are you able to play that hand? And you got to figure that out. I guess it's no mistake that Mr. Thomas is in Vegas and he's got the fountains behind him in that picture. But look, man, there's people that get good at that game. You know what? There's people that are really good in the medical field game. You know what? There's people that are really good in the athletics game. You know what? There's really good people in the teaching game. There's really good people in the entertainment game. There's really good people in the network marketing game. So one of the things that you all have to decide to do is, how good do you want to get at this game? Because this game has some big rewards, big rewards. So it's just something to think about, you guys. Play the cards you're dealt. Okay? Know which cards to turn in, know when to ask for other cards, but you got to know the game. Give you an example. You guys, if someone is dealt, like, I guess it's what would it be? Like a full house, right? 3 aces and 2 kings, full house in cards. That's a pretty good hand. I think it's a pretty good hand. It's a pretty good hand, right? An amateur wouldn't know what to do with that hand. They wouldn't know how to raise their bets. They wouldn't know what to do. A professional would know what to do. Well, that same thing applies in our business. It applies in every business. So this does lead into the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Check this out. And I hope this is very reassuring, for all of you. It was reassuring for me. By the way, what I'm about to share with you has been reassuring for me for over 15 years. Ready? Here goes. In fact, let me just check. I know that there was a couple people on here, and just bear with me, you guys. So I'm playing a little bit. Good. So here's what I want you to know. Here's what I want you to know. By the way, Caroline, can you hear me okay? Am I coming through? Okay, cool. Check this out. Check this out, you guys. You all of you, every person on this call, regardless of position, you get a do-over. How great is that? You get a do-over. So you can put this in your notes. I get a do-over. Guess what that means? You can restart, relaunch, reorganize your business starting today, 9:15 a.m. Pacific time on February 11th. Do-over. You get a do-over. You get to, by the way, every single one of you could hit executive team leader in the month of February, regardless of your position. You could all hit executive team leader in the month of February. What does that mean? Well, you guys get 30 points between you and a team. Sure, Chris, in golf, it's a mulligan, right? It's a mulligan. Now, here's the great thing about this. Most jobs do not provide that. Most businesses do not provide that. You don't get do-overs. We lost that deal. We didn't have our A game, right? Right? That was famous. Tiger was famous, right? But you guys, that phrase had been coined since he said it now for like a decade. It's like, well, Tiger, what happened? Well, didn't have my A game. Wait till I play my A game. Oh God, Tiger's talking about his A game. Well, he can talk about his A game. Look at his trophy wall, right? That's proof. So something I want you to think about, you guys, when you give yourself a do-over, and I give you permission to do it, when you give yourself a do-over, are you working towards your own A game? See, you guys, one of the things that you're going to hear me say this entire month is I really hope, and I can't do it for you, but I hope you're not just plugging into these calls to plug into the calls. Now, understand what I mean by this, okay? I think it's great to stay plugged in, and we're all going through a lot of life, and sometimes staying plugged in is all you can do. that it feels, watch this, it feels like it's all you can do. You got so many things pulling at you. It feels like all you can do, but you're staying plugged in. I'm telling you, you can do more. I'm telling you, you can do more. I have an individual on this call. She's a regional director out of San Antonio. She runs a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week locksmith business. Please. Please. You know, she gets a phone call, Roxanne, we're locked out of our house, 3 a.m. She got to go. Why? Because that's her business. Could you imagine if she said, nah, I can't, I'm really tired. Or, how about this? How about if she gets the phone call? She gets the phone call and she goes, you know what? I'm not feeling it today. I'm not feeling it. But a lot of you treat your ACN business that way because there's no ramifications if you say that. You don't feel like there's any ramifications if you don't take action because there's no repercussion for you. But what you don't understand is you are planting seeds of dissatisfaction and you are planting seeds of shortcomings in your business because you're allowing yourself to do that. And I'm asking you, if you want to do this, don't do that. You got to be able to recognize those opportunities, but you all get a do-over. I am a super amateur on the Bible, but I think it says like if your brother sins against you, should you forgive him 7 times? No, 77 times. Like as many times as it takes, forgive yourself, get back up and go make it happen. But I don't want that to become a pattern for you where now you just keep, I'm going to start over today. Well, I didn't do anything that day. Dean said I could start over today. Well, it's Tuesday. I didn't do a damn thing. Well, I'm going to start over Wednesday. Wednesday, I didn't do crap. I'm going to start over Thursday. Dean said I could do it. He said I could start over. You can, but you guys start over with an intention, start over with a desire, start over with here's what it is. Write this down. Start over, get a do-over with a decision, a do-over with a decision. If you give yourself a do-over with a decision that you're not going to have do-overs anymore, how about that? I'm doing it this time and I'm doing it right. And I'm going to fight my urges to go back to old crappy habits that didn't get me where I wanted to go. Does that make sense? By the way, I'm not going to ask everybody to one person. Does this conversation make sense this morning so far? Okay, cool. So the second part of the do-over part of this. So some of you, please, you guys, please, I'm freaking asking you, give yourself a do-over. Just stop beating yourself up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I'm not that person. I don't know how to talk to people. This was just not a fit, but for some reason it's just in my head and I got to keep plugging into Mr. Thomas's call because I believe in this and I know it can work for me. Great. That's the biggest battle. That's the biggest battle. Now give yourself a do-over. But you guys think about do-over means do something, right? Like every day, do something to advance your business. And I talked about this last week. Getting a customer, helping someone get a customer, presenting the business, helping someone present the business. See, if you do those things every single day, if you do one of those 4 things every single day, your business will build. And that I will tell you. Speaking on behalf of myself, Mr. Thomas, the other RVPs and SVPs. Okay, cool. So now let's get on to some other stuff. Make sense so far? Everybody gets a do-over. Okay, cool. Don't keep doing them, but you can if you want, but make it the last one. Okay, cool. So here's how we doing on time. This was actually my main message for you today. So I got some notes to give you guys. All right, here goes. And it really does fall into these topics so far. But I want you to write this down. Run your race. You got to run your race. Okay. So let's talk about racing for a second. Okay. Let's talk about racing. What is the goal? Man, I wish this was unmuted. What is the goal? Or maybe Mr. Thomas can do it, but I know he's busy. Hang on, or not busy, but just in a loud area. What is the goal of a marathon? What's the goal? Someone can chat it. Someone can say what people sign up to do a marathon. What's really the goal? What's the goal for the person in a marathon?
To finish.
That someone said it, to finish. The goal is to finish. That is the goal of a marathon. Okay. Let's talk about another race. Can someone tell me what is the goal of a sprint? Run your fastest. Time. Christine said it. Right. So the goal of a marathon is to finish. The goal of a sprint is time. It's speed. You have to understand the balance and the dichotomy of this in ACN. Because we all hear these people that get started and like, oh, don't understand. Well, yeah, these bonuses are great and everything. Understand, like the bonuses are great, but I'm in this for what? I'm in this for the long term. I'm in this to build that residual income. I'm in it to build that. I'm not worried about the bonuses. Well, as a reminder from last week to this week, there are no residuals if you don't get bonuses. Let's go. Okay. You won't be around. Listen to me, folks. Let's have a freaking conversation here. You will not be around to earn and enjoy residual income if you don't personally get some of these bonuses and help some other people get bonuses. Why? Because the bonuses are based on customers being acquired, which actually provide the residual. So you got to understand this, that you got to understand the dichotomy in ACN. There's a marathon portion of it and there's a sprint portion of it. And if you don't understand this, it's very difficult to run your race because you're giving yourself a confused message, and confused people do nothing. So what I'm asking you to do, I'm asking you to have long-term vision and short-term goals. You got to have long-term vision. What does that mean? Where do I see myself? What is my life going to be like? Right? If you're already successful, you have a successful business already. This is now the challenge of building another successful business. You guys, you know my feeling on this. If you find somebody who's been successful in one area in their life, there's a very reasonable chance they'll be successful here. Why? Because there's certain core things that make people successful. Integrity, character, work ethic, see something through, finish what you start, be of service to others. You find someone who does that in the medical field, there's a very strong chance that they're going to do that here because the core elements of that person are in place. So you have to run your race in ACN and understand your long-term goal, where you want to be. That's finishing. And I'll tell you guys something, okay? I'll tell you guys something, and hopefully this will resonate with you guys. There were a bunch of us backstage at a national remember when we had nationals? Oh, so much fun. All right, so a number of regional vice presidents were backstage with Mr. Provenzano, and we were back there, and there were some newly promoted regional vice presidents back there, and he said something really remarkable. It impacted me for sure, and here's what he said. He goes, "Congratulations on becoming RVP." And he was talking to the new people, but a bunch of us were there. He said, "Congratulations on earning regional vice president. Phenomenal accomplishment. Phenomenal accomplishment." And he said, in his own, this is paraphrasing, but he said, "I hope you understand now it starts." Why do I say that to you? I want you to get this. Earning the position of regional vice president, here's what he said, now allows you to earn income in every way we can pay you. Now you've opened the compensation plan to get paid every single way we can pay you in the comp plan. You guys, what a worthwhile goal. And for those of you who know you're going to become a regional vice president, for those of you who know it, go ahead in your book, in your journal, whatever you're taking notes, and write down, "I will be a regional vice president." Write it down right now. Because if you can't write it down, you can't do it. I will be a regional vice president. By the way, are there regional vice presidents that do more than one business? Mr. Thomas has multiple businesses. He's a senior vice president. Give me a break. Of course. Of course. So now, the goal of a marathon is to finish. The goal of a sprint is time or speed. Jocelyn Driscoll just wrote, I will be an SVP and COC. I believe her. I believe her because she wrote it. I believe her because she made it public. And I believe it because I know her. Okay. So the goal of a marathon is to finish. The goal of a sprint is speed or time. Directly from Efren Tejada, one of my personal mentors. Write this down word for word. Success loves speed. Success loves speed. So understand something, guys. You got to get this stuff set. Like when I say set, here's what I mean. Here's what I mean. You got to get this. I hope you get this. When I say you got to get this stuff set, it's like glue. Glue, when you first use it, you can still move it around. You put a pole in some glue, you can still move it around. You can't move the pole once the glue is set. So you got to get these things set in your mind, because if they're not set in your mind, it's impossible to take the action. So here's the next thing you have to know. For a marathon and a sprint, you got to set some benchmarks along the way. You've got to set benchmarks along the way. You guys, if you're plugging into the call week after week and your business is not advancing, there are no people looking at the business. There are no people joining your team. There are no customer points hitting the books. I'm letting you know that's okay, but then you have to change your expectation of what you want ACN to do for you. You've got to change your expectation. Why? Because if you keep plugging in and don't doing anything, please stop thinking that ACN doesn't work. Please stop thinking that people don't make money. Please stop thinking that people are not in production. Please stop thinking that this is all fantasy land. It's not. You have to get some benchmarks done along the way. I'm going to give you an example, you guys, and I've talked about this before, but I'm hoping your mind is now right to hear, after all these months of being with you guys, the message, the freaking message to you. If you are at 20 customer points right now, I am asking you, so for your business, please, by next Thursday, be at 30 points. If you're at 20 customer points right now, by next Thursday, be at 30 points. Do you guys realize that's one Vivint and a 4-point ID seal? That would be 12 points. You'd be at 32 points. You have exceeded your goal. Well, what do we talk about? Goals. Goal of a marathon, goal of a sprint. I'm asking you guys to not be on this call next week without something being accomplished, moving your business forward. Am I telling you don't plug in? No, of course not. I'm telling you, I want you to plug in, having that feather in your cap, having that check mark next to that goal. Dean said this. I made a goal. I accomplished it. I'm on that call. Do you know how good you're going to feel about your business and what it is that you're doing moving forward? You cannot turn a blind eye when you do not do what you said you were going to do. You cannot. And part of having a blind eye to the things that we said we're going to do that we don't do, we're very good as human beings to justify why it didn't happen. Well, you know, because of this, because of that, because of the snowstorm, because of the, you know, this and COVID and that. And I'm not, listen, I am not minimizing the seriousness of the health situation right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I believe in history over the course of time, people have accomplished tremendous things. And here's for my RDs that are on this call, they're going to hear some language right now that I give them all the time. So I'm going to give, well, actually I should ask permission. Mr. Thomas, do I have permission? Hopefully he can hear me. If not, I'll ask Julian. Julian, do I have permission? Mr. Lewis? Okay, cool. All right. Here's the language. Write this down word for word. It's 3 words. Before we wrap everything up, we got 3 words that I want you guys to write down. The words are in spite of. In spite of. In spite
Did you
of
say in spite of, sir? I'm sorry. Did you say in spite of?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. In spite of my circumstances, in spite of my conditions, in spite of my lack of belief, in spite of my talents not being that great, in spite of the fact that I don't have all the skills yet. Yet is an important word. In spite of my circumstances, I'm going to do this, that, or the other. In spite of my circumstances, I'm going after this goal. In spite of my circumstances, I'm getting these customers done. In spite of my circumstances, I'm getting through 20 points. I will not hear Dean Tarrolly tell me one more time about being on this call without 20 points. Because you know what happens is this. Now you're not going through the motions and you're not faking it. Now what you're doing is you're actually in it. And you've done what you said you were going to do. You're going to feel so good about yourself and the business and the opportunity that you represent. You will become a magnet to people. People will want to know what's going on with you. Then you're going to start building a team and you're going to come back to me and go, oh my God, 20 points. I just needed to break through. So when you get a do-over, you also get an opportunity to have another breakthrough. So I'll tell you. So I referenced my friend Joe. He's on this call. So he texted me something earlier, right? Like he has a new team that started. A bunch of bonuses are getting released this weekend, next weekend, and we got some things cooking, right? We got some things cooking. Well, here's what he texted me, right? Here's what he texted me. By the way, can y'all hear me? Ulysses, can you hear me? Patron, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Akiko, can you hear me? Okay, cool. Check this out, you guys. Pat, Marcia, Belinda, here's Luis. Here's what Carolyn, here's what he texted me. I wrote it down, quotes, in my training for today. He wrote, by the way, extremely busy guy. When I say extremely busy, owns multiple businesses, expanding his business from South Dakota out to California. And I'm not talking about ACN, his traditional business. But here's what he texted me. I'd really like to get some things done today. Word for word. I'd really like to get some things done today. You want to know what? By the time the day is done, we'll have 2 more of his business partners, customer qualified. We have presentations set up, and I'm doing a national overview tonight at 6:00 where I know he's going to have people on the call. That's getting things done today. Why am I singling him out? Because I know his story and I'm working directly with him. So there's somebody like that in your phone that's just waiting to hear from you. I'm telling you right now. By the way, would we all love people on our teams? And I'm sorry that this sounds so rhetorical and silly because the answer is going to be yes, but I want you to hear it. Because if you hear it, it gets inside. And if it gets inside, you can start to think about it. And if you start to think about it, you can start to manifest it. And these kind of things can happen. How many of you would like a grip of people on your team texting you this? Hey, I'd really like to get some things done today. Who's in? Oh my God. Wait a minute. What is today? It's February 11th. Wait a minute. Is it December 25th or is it February 11th? Is it Christmas? People are calling me, telling me that they want to get things done and I'm not having to push them, convince them, and do all of those things. You have people calling you, texting you saying, Jen, Caroline, Akiko, Daryl, Mary, Corey, Catherine, Marie, Freddie, Trone, Ishmael, Pat, Antonio, Luis, Claudine, Belinda. I want to get some things done today. Yeah, but would you be like this? You'd be like this, like I am. You'd be like this. Thank you. Oh my God. Yes. We're waiting for, by the way, those people are out there. You have to be the right person to attract that type of person. And by the way, if you can't figure out the goal of a marathon is to finish and you can't figure out the goal of a sprint is to do it quickly, you're going to have a tough time attracting those kind of people. A marathon mentality is not a hall pass to not accomplish your daily activities. I mean, God, a marathon mentality is not a hall pass for you to not accomplish daily activities. By the way, you know what's crazy about marathon runners? I don't know very much about it, but I do know this. Check this out. Marathon runners train. By the way, do you think marathon runners train once a month? You think marathon runners train once a week? You think marathon trainers, they train what? What do they train? What do they train? Every day. They train every day. You know, for those of you who like sports, especially like team sports, there's an old kind of saying, and it goes like this, and it's been changed over the years, whatever, but it's basically the same. It's you practice 5 to play 1. Yeah, 2-a-days. Caroline said 2-a-days. Athletes do 2-a-days. You're training twice a day. By the way, if you train twice a day and all of your competition trains once a day, you win. It's going to show up on game day. Well, when you're an athlete, you practice 5 to play 1. You practice 5 to play 1. You practice 5 days to play 1. You miss practice, you don't play.
That's 10 and 2 for us. 10 and 2
right?
For us.
What's that, Julian? What's that? Say again.
Oh my gosh, I said that's 10 and 2 for us.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Same thing.
Dude, the same deal. So let me tell you guys. You can write this down word for word or not. I don't care. Do what you want with it. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I do. I care about you guys, but you're going to do what you're going to do. You will never know what you can accomplish or what you are capable of until you push yourself. You will never know what you can accomplish or what you're capable of until you push yourself. So I'm going to say it to you one more time. You will never know what you can accomplish and what you're capable of until you push yourself. That does not mean Al Thomas pushing you. That's not what it means. Oh, well, how about this? Man, this kind of seems like maybe a little bit more than I bargained for. This maybe is like, maybe I bid off a little more than I can chew. So what? See, if you bite off less than, by the way, if you bite off less than you can chew, you'll end up going hungry. If you bite off more than you can chew, now you have a chance. You will never know what you can accomplish and what you're capable of until you push yourself. Now, it just so happens that you have an environment here with Mr. Thomas, who's done all of these things for years, and has an environment now where other leaders can pour into you as best as they can. So what I would tell you to do is this. You guys should text your coach today, and you should ask them to help you in your personal push to learn how to present, to learn how to close, to learn how to promote, to learn how to master a service. Like you guys, listen to me. You get recognized in public for the work you do in private. You will be celebrated in public for the work you do in private. You will be celebrated in public for the work you do in private. And the greatest thing is this, man, everybody gets a do-over. I don't care how long someone's been in ACN or how long they haven't. Everybody can have a do-over, and the do-over can start February 11th. In fact, I just saw someone join this meeting. A guy who I freaking adore this guy on my team. I'm not even gonna call you out, CLQ, but I'll say it. I'll say that. So I know you're on. So you guys, as I go over these things with you in the month of February, everything comes full circle, right? So understanding everything from today, what's left? What's left is the same message we give from every leader in every training. That's what's left. That's if you sift through everything like a sifter, you're going out there, you're panning for gold, and you're left with something, right? You're left with something. Here's what it is. Then do it. Run your race. A goal of a marathon is to finish. A goal of a sprint is time. When you get that balance set up and have your long-term goals, your SVP goals, your RVP goals, and you sprint, little sprints make up a marathon. So how about we do this? Let's sprint you to the next point promotion. You're at 20, let's sprint to 30. So you are coming on this call next Thursday, and we'll do it in the chat. Who hit their goal this week? Who set a goal and hit it? And you guys, please don't set a goal for 2 points. You could fall out of bed and get 2 points. Please give me a break. I mean, give me a freaking break. By the way, I would tell you that you probably shouldn't be on this call. Marie's cracking up right now. She's like, but I'm telling you, you guys, do y'all agree? You could literally fall out of bed and get 2 points. Come on. What did I talk to you guys about today? About pushing yourselves, about getting more out of yourself. right? Testing yourself. Test yourself. If you test yourself with what I'm telling you to do this week and you don't accomplish the goal, you have not failed. All right? You fail by not doing anything. That's a failure. You've heard all these, you've heard all the cute little phrases. Fail your way to the top. Every time I fall down, I'm 6 feet closer to where my goal is. All these things. You guys, those things exist for a reason. So here's the last little thought here. What are you scared of, man? Like, for real, what are you scared of? Your goals. God, I should write this down. Hang on a minute. Guys, this is going to take a second. So I have my notes for Al Thomas's call, and I'm having to take notes on what I'm saying and what I'm about to say to you. So hang on a second.
I like that. What are you scared of? I love it. Love it. What are they scared of, Mr. Dean Tarrolly? I keep asking myself, why do they don't go harder? What are you scared of?
Okay.
What are you scared of?
Yeah, what are you scared of, man? So here's the deal. Here's the deal. And Mr. Thomas, I wasn't trying to cut you off. It's just I wanted to get this written down and get it to you guys before it goes out of my head, which you guys have seen happen sometimes. So here's the deal. Ready? Write this down. Your goals require courage. Your goals require courage. So I don't care what your goals are. I'm letting you know they require courage, man. You got to have some courage in this thing. And if your goals are important enough, your courage increases. Your goals require courage. And you can borrow the courage of the leaders on this call while you're developing and building your own. So there you go. Mr. Thomas, that was my message. That's what I got for you. Hope that was helpful.